Hi, and welcome to my kitchen, where today we're going to be cooking and talking about consecrated religious life. We have Sister Jenny, who will join us with a special vegetarian dip called chana. And we're going to have Father Michael join us. He's a Franciscan friar. He doesn't cook much, so he's going to be doing a little Portobello mushroom with me as kind of a vegetarian dish. And I'll be cooking some chicken, so don't go away. For our chicken dish today, we're going to start with about 2 tablespoons of butter and about the same amount of olive oil that we're going to put into a warmed pot. And for this chicken dish, it's going to be chicken in a pot. So what you're going to need to do is get a big heavy Dutch oven, big heavy cast iron pan, something like this one I'm using here. A couple of tablespoons of olive oil, a couple tablespoons of butter. We're going to heat that up and let it melt down a little bit. And this chicken is something that's very comforting. It's a comfort food. It has kind of French roots, you'll see, from some of the seasonings and the spices and things I put in them, as well as the wine. It's a great dish to make maybe on a Sunday afternoon when you want to have a little Sunday dinner with a chicken in the pot. And you cook the chicken whole, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, by the way, did I mention we're talking about not just chicken today, but we're also talking about consecrated religious life. What does that mean? What does that mean? There are people in the church who are dedicated to particular charisms, to particular gifts that they have, and they live in what we call a stable community. Now, I don't mean just a stable community like we hope to live in a peaceful community, but they live in one place together in community, usually. Although actually hermits can be consecrated religious as well. But mostly the ones we're talking to today are going to be people from religious communities, the Religious Sisters of Mercy, and the Friars Minor Conventual. So we've got I hear our little bubbling of butter and olive oil here. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to put in what we sometimes refer to as mirepoix. This is celery, and it's chopped pretty big. I kept them kind of big because I don't want them to kind of melt away when we cook them down. I want them to still be in that pot, even in their cooked form when we finish the chicken. So we've got the carrots, the onions, and the celery, which are roughly chopped. And this is going to be our base for our chicken in the pot. Oh, you know what else I need? We always like to have a little bit of garlic. I'm going to start with a whole clove of garlic, and I'm going to put the whole bulb in, all the little garlic toes, after I take the skin off. Okay. So we've got our chicken. We're going to refresh it a little bit. They say we want to refresh the chicken, so here we go. I'm going to do a little lemon juice inside the cavity, and I'm going to leave the lemon right in there even when I cook it. Just keep washing your hands if you're dealing with chicken. Okay. Oop. Okay, a little pepper. Now, as I said, we're talking about consecrated, little salt, and some inside too. A little bit of tarragon over the top. There we go. Like tarragon. So you're going to put this in the pot in a moment and put about 3 or 4 bay leaves in as well. Not Baileys, bay leaves. Now the chicken is going to go right into the center. We're going to cook this chicken for a long time. So I'm making a little place for chicken in the center here, and then right down in the pot. Okay. And he fits there a little bit tightly, but not too tightly. About half a cup of wine around the edges. And about 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. We got our pot, let's see. Lemon, salt, pepper, bay leaf. I put some wine in, so we're all set. Now what's going to happen is this will sit on top of the stove on low heat for about a half an hour. After it's done about a half an hour, you're going to take the top off. We're going to put in a little bit of like a half a cup or so of half and half. This is going to give it an incredibly rich flavor. Now we're going to put this in an oven preheated to about 400 degrees for another half hour, okay? Half hour on top at low heat, simmering, half hour in the oven. Half hour into the oven, you're going to take your meat thermometer, you're going to stick it in the chicken, and you're going to see what the temperature is, and it's got to be at least 180 degrees. When it's at 180 degrees, you're going to take it out of the oven. We're going to do one more step. The last thing we're going to do after it cooks again in the oven, we're going to put in some mushrooms, because these don't take long to cook, so we want to keep those nice and fresh. Okay. All right, and whole, and a little bit of white balsamic vinegar. And then we're going to leave it on top of the stove, again on a low simmer for another 15 to 20 minutes or so. Chicken is a very forgiving dish, but it can dry out. So you want to make sure you don't go too far over that 185 degree internal temperature mark. So that's our chicken dish. Let me clean up a little bit here. Now, to tell you a little bit about my own vocational story, as I said, I'm not a consecrated religious. I don't belong to a religious order. But when I was a kid, I used to check out some of them. Like there was a group called the Claretians who worked in Chicago with, especially with the poor. And I was kind of interested in those people when I was a younger fellow. And I went to a Franciscan university, so I kind of was interested in the Franciscans. And I went back and forth until I decided on the diocesan priesthood, because I thought there's a great need where I live in the Diocese of Buffalo. And so I figured, well, that's where I should be, to serve my people where I grew up. And so I'm not someone who would get transferred, over to, an island or in a mission or in different parts of the United States. I'm tied really here to Buffalo until the end of my priestly ministry. Now, I've got a chicken in a pot that is all done, and let's see what this looks like. All right, there we go. Now, the reason I put this back in the oven was because I wanted to slightly brown the skin. So I ran it under the broiler for about 10 minutes or so, and then put it back in the oven. Now let's see how our chicken looks. I'm really looking forward to seeing, ooh, beautiful. Now one of the little wingies fell off, so we're going to get those. Those would be nice. This is a great, as I said, a Sunday dinner. It maybe looks a little bit complicated, but it's really not. It's a really easy thing to do. And these vegetables have stayed whole, even though we've cooked them for quite a long time, and the aromatics here are incredible. You've got your root vegetables, you've got your bay leaf, which I am taking some of those out. You got little vegetables all around here, mushrooms, celery, onions. This is a fantastic Sunday meal. There we go. I'll put a little juice over the top. Oh, that's good. If you'd like, you can even add a little bit of just a tablespoon or so of a licorice-flavored liqueur like Pernod from France or Sambuca from Italy. I'm going to just take a little taste of our chicken here. Ooh, okay. Of course, always before meals, we offer our little blessing of grace, reminding us that we're thankful to God for all the things He gives us. And I think I'm going to be thankful for this especially. Oh boy, that is pretty darn good. The breast is still moist, but you also have this juice if you want it a little more moist. And even the celery tastes good after it's been cooking for so long, and the mushrooms. Oh, we thank God for this, and for you, and for the people we're about to meet when we come back to our daily bread. Hi, welcome back to our Daily Bread. We're talking about and celebrating consecrated religious life. And our Holy Father, Pope Francis, he announced that beginning in Advent of 2014, there would be a special emphasis on this type of life. And it would go in through the presentation of the Lord, that's February 2nd of 2016. So this is a wonderful time in which we're learning a little bit more about priests, brothers, religious, who are devoted in a special way to God. Now, I started with chicken. I made a chicken in the pot for our first segment today. And you don't have to use a whole chicken. You know, you could use the drumsticks and the thighs and that. That makes same thing if you want a smaller amount. And right now we're going to make something from where?
From Guyana, South America.
From Guyana, South America. And joining me on the program now is Sister Jenny Wilson. And Sister Jenny, you are you a religious sister of mercy?
I am a sister.
What we used to call the Mercy Sisters, the Mercy Nuns we used to call them. That cross that you wear is symbolic, emblematic, if you will, of the religious sisters. That's your official sign,
yes.
Right? I know you're a Sister of Mercy, but I know you're not all the way a Sister of Mercy, or what?
No, I'm not. It's a process. Any people that are in religious life, it takes a long time, anywhere from 7 to 12 years or even longer. Different orders like the Franciscans, the Jesuits, it depends. So for me, I've been professed for 4.5 years.
Now, you've been professed. What does that mean?
So that means that when I made first vows, I became a Sister of Mercy. And I said that the intention was to do it for life.
Okay.
But there's a discernment period. And the Sisters of Mercy, as well as myself and God together, decide if I'm going to continue in the process.
Okay.
So now I've been in vows 4.5 years, and that my vows expire. So if they were to expire, that's all that would happen, and I wouldn't be a sister anymore. Or I would continue in the process and make perpetual vows, final vows, which will most likely happen this summer. So I am moving in that direction, and I've been with the sisters about 8.5 years.
While we're talking about the Sisters of Mercy and your own journey, we're going to make what are we going to call this?
This is called chana. It's chickpeas.
Okay.
And curry.
Put some olive oil in the bottom of this pan, which is on low heat or medium heat. Which one, Sister?
I think medium.
Is that enough to start with?
That's good, yeah.
Okay. By the way, it's not. Looks like there's not much to it, really.
No, it's very easy. When I went there for 2 years, and we had to cook on our own. So this is one of the very first things we learned to cook, because we know lots of processed things as Americans, and so. I ate this for a long time.
Were you a religious sister when you went there?
No, I was not.
You were a volunteer.
I was a volunteer, and we work in the ministries with the sisters, and that's really where my vocation came from. I went there and I saw the sisters, and I was there for 2 years alongside of them, and I came home saying, I think I might become a sister.
What do you think would surprise people the most to know about you?
I'm a runner, and that I've done half marathons, and I hope to do one in this coming up fall.
Wonderful. Half marathon. Oh, my goodness.
You want to do it with me?
No, I don't. No, that wouldn't happen. But I admire you for doing it. Okay, so we're going to put, what is this, Sister? About a whole onion that's been...
1 onion.
You can tell which I chopped. They're all goofy sizes. Whoever chopped this did a really good job. Okay, so we got the onions. What else?
Garlic.
How much garlic is that?
About 5 cloves.
5 cloves. So, and it's as much as you want, I suppose.
Yes,
huh?
as much as you want.
You like garlic?
I do.
Are you like a healthy eater or something? Or?
A little bit. I try. And then you're going to put the chickpeas in here.
Chickpeas. I'm going to drain them.
Yeah, drain them.
This is a big can of chickpeas. There we go. Okay. All right. And those go in right away?
Yep, and just put those in there.
Okay. And we're not going to use the extra liquid.
We are going to use it.
We are going to use the extra liquid.
We are going to use it.
Okay. Now we've got curry.
Curry, and it just depends how much you put in it.
How much do you usually put in?
Put in about 2 tablespoons. It depends how spicy you want it.
Well, we'll put a little...
Yeah, put another, definitely.
Light one there? Okay.
That's good.
Whatever. There we go. Good. Then what happens?
And then we're going to put some cumin in, about a tablespoon.
Some ground cumin. Okay. I love cumin. 2 teaspoons of cumin?
Yes, that's fine.
Which is kind of a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a lot. They use
strong flavor.
Yeah. They use it a lot there.
All right. So we're going to cook this down a little bit more. Is that it?
Yes, and you're going to put in about a teaspoon of this Worcestershire sauce.
There we go. About how much was I supposed to put in?
About a teaspoon.
Well, that's a little more, but
it's fine. It doesn't matter. You can't really mess this up.
Well, I could. I'll bet.
No, you can't.
All right.
And then you can put this in the liquid and
This
just
is the
saute.
liquid from the chickpea, the can of chickpeas. All of it?
Yeah, put it all in.
Now, Sister Jenny, you're a Religious Sister of Mercy, RSM, that's the name. How are Sisters of Mercy different? I know there's Carmelites and who are in, there's a monastery. There's 2 monasteries in the city of Buffalo. The Dominicans in the city, religious women, and the Carmelites. How are you different from those consecrated religious?
Well, we're an apostolic community, so we combine service and prayer together, whereas the other communities, their main ministry would be prayer. So they would be considered nuns, and they would be considered monastic and stay cloistered, mostly. That would be the difference. They're cloistered, and we go out to ministry.
What do you promise? I know there's certain vows. It's a vow, really. It's not a promise.
Right.
Which is a little bit different.
It's a little bit different.
How is it different? Can you explain it? Because I have a hard time explaining it.
Well, it's different because when you promise something, we all know that unfortunately we've broken promises. But we hope that you don't break your vows. It's like marriage vows.
Got it.
So the vows of obedience, chastity, poverty, and the Sisters of Mercy take a 4th vow, and that's service. So you're dedicating yourself to God, and you're saying, this is what I'm going to do. So it's a little bit different than a promise.
And that's really what a consecrated religious is, someone who has dedicated themselves totally to God.
Yes.
In a community.
In a community. So that's what is sometimes the difference between me and you. I live in community. Not that you don't or couldn't live with other sisters. You live with Father.
I couldn't live with other sisters.
No, you could not.
Probably not. I think they probably couldn't live with me either.
You could live with other priests.
I
you
could,
live with Father Sean, but we live in an intentional community.
An intentional community meaning that you are in, like I have many times lived alone.
Right.
But that would not be my intention if I were a religious order priest or member of a community or a religious sister.
We dedicate ourselves to praying together, to having dinner together, to being together.
Speaking of, how are we coming on this? I noticed you didn't put any salt in it.
No, because the Worcestershire sauce has salt.
Oh, sure.
So you can add salt, but I don't put salt in much because I like to be on the healthier side.
Well, let's take this over and kind of...
Yeah.
Now, would you serve this? You said you would serve this as a side dish,
yes.
right?
I smell the curry.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's not real strong though. I mean, as strong as I expected.
We could have put more in there.
I think, in fact, I think I would serve this probably not hot right out of the pan. I think the flavor would be enriched if you.
If you let it sit. Yeah,
if you let it sit
up to
a
you.
little bit
You
more.
can eat it. I mean, like the kids in Guyana, they eat it cold, so it's
Sure.
up to you. I ate it last night after I practiced, and it tasted good. So.
Good. Well, really thank God for you, for the Sisters of Mercy, and all those in consecrated religious life. Can we try a little of this?
Oh, of course.
You tell me if we did okay with this, because
this
you know what
looks
it's supposed to taste like. Looks great to me, too. Very tasty looking. I love that sauce. Yeah, we have forks.
Oh, there we go.
Although sometimes it looks like almost a spoon would do, too.
Yeah, it could.
Oh, I love this.
Good.
I love cheesy beans, though. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, you do?
I love hummus and cheesy
Not a lot
beans.
of people like them.
I don't know why.
They use it in a lot of Italian cooking, and it has high in fiber. It's good for you.
They're good for you. I think this would knock a... I spoke too soon. I thought it wasn't spicy enough, but now I'm getting the heat from the curry. We want to thank Sister Jenny for making this tell me again. Chana. And for sharing some of her story with us. And we pray for her, and I know she'll be praying for us as she heads towards her final profession. And don't go away, because we've got one more guest, Father Michael. He's a Franciscan conventual, and I guess we're going to do some cooking together. I'm going to show him a little something, and he's going to cook a little something, and, well, we'll see what's up. Right after this, don't go away. Welcome back to our Daily Bread, and we're celebrating and talking about consecrated religious life. And we started off with me making a chicken in the pot, and then Sister Jenny was here to talk about her life and also some mission work she did in South America where she learned to make a garbanzo bean, kind of a side dish with curry. It was really good. And now we have Father Michael Sajda, who's an OFM, Order of Friars Minor Conventual, from St. Francis High School in Athol Springs, and he's the president of the high school. How do you get elected president of a high school?
You don't get elected, you get appointed.
Who appoints you? The board? Or
well, no, our provincial council does that, right? And then it's approved by the local school board. We have a two-tier system.
All right. This is all new. This is a whole complicated thing
It's
that
a
we're going to
whole
learn
complicated
about.
thing.
But what we want to focus in on, besides our food,
cooking.
is your life as a member of the Franciscan community. But before we do that, let me just say, Father Michael doesn't cook, so we're going to try a little something with Portobello mushrooms, which I have put on a low heat in a grill pan that I've oiled, and I also put a few tablespoons of liquid in there from the black beans. Hey, we're going to make a little stuffing for these. I'm going to put some black beans in. I'm not going to pulse them too much, and I'm going to put about two of these chipotle peppers, a little bit of the juice. So, I'm going to give a little squeeze of a lemon. Oh, I got a seed there, but don't worry about it. And let's see how moist it is. Tasty. A little spicy. Let's do a little pepper. Father Mike, could you reach back there and pull a couple of sprigs of parsley off the plant back there?
Okay.
A little salt.
Enough or more?
A little bit more, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Throw the parsley in. A few breadcrumbs. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Let's see how this works now. Good. See, I think that's going to be the right,
Good.
that's like a paste, the
Yeah.
right consistency. We'll see how it goes, right? How'd that make you feel when the Pope took the name Francis?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Because I think it was a validation of a lot of things the church needs to do or wants to do.
What are those things that you think the church wants to do? I think we've seen a lot in the papacy of
Serving
Francis.
the poor, serving down-to-earth Catholics, and helping people get closer to God.
Mm-hmm. And how do you do that in your life?
How do I do that in my life? Well, we are really semi-contemplative. We live a community life, but we also have active ministries. Mm-hmm. As a friar, my life has been devoted to high schools because I believe 8 hours a day with young people, we can teach them more of faith by example than we could ever teach just by having a classroom situation. So they learn from us through life skills.
Now, with your consecrated religious life, when did you take your promises, your vows?
My first vows, I took my first vows in 1970.
And how old were you then?
18.
Wow, isn't that something?
It
So
is
you're
something.
like a lifer.
I'm a lifer.
Uh-huh, not many left.
Not many left.
No, not many lifers.
Well, my classmates.
Uh-huh, yeah. But now, do you find guys go in a little bit
A
later?
little bit, most of the time, yes. A little bit later, after at least 2 years of college, and then. But we do have a few that have have come into the order after high school.
I'm checking our little burgers here, Portobello. I'm putting a tiny bit of water in from the beans, and that's going to steam this cheese and steam a little more as I cook that, and we're almost ready with those. But Father Mike, what would be something about you or your life that would surprise people if they knew it? Sister Jenny told us she was a runner.
A runner.
Which was a surprise.
I am a nationally licensed soccer coach.
Really?
Yes.
Do you ever coach soccer?
I haven't coached soccer since I've been back to Buffalo.
Okay. Now, also, about the habit itself, it's kind of taking after...
The towel cross.
Oh, the towel cross. Okay. Tell people what the towel cross is.
The towel cross is a Franciscan cross, and primarily it was Francis's signature because he wanted to be known as a simple person, a simple man. So he would sign his name with a T, and it was known as a towel.
Okay.
And our habit, basically, both the brown friars, the observants, the Capuchins, and us, wear the habit, and it all looks the same. Different color, but in the same mode.
Now, you take 3 vows.
Poverty, chastity, obedience.
But, and people might not realize, so you have a rope, a cord. What do you call it, the cord?
It's a cord.
It's cord. Maybe you could...
In the vows, the cord is remind us of our vows.
It's 3 knots.
3 knots.
Poverty, chastity,
and
obedience. What's the difference between chastity and celibacy? I take a promise of celibacy.
Well, not much.
Okay.
To be honest, I cannot have property. I cannot have a wife, and I have to listen to my superiors who may send me wherever they desire.
Now, truly, though, how do you get along in this day and age without property? You got to have some resources of...
We have things for our use, but technically speaking, if I would die, I would die a poor man.
Okay.
It would, I have nothing in my name.
You got nothing in your room that I might find?
I don't think so.
Something that I might like? Or...
Then you're welcome to take it. Then you're welcome to take it.
Oh, these look pretty good. I'm going to say they look pretty good. Let's see here.
Let's try them.
There we go. That looks okay. Let's see how they taste. And be honest. I know you cannot not be honest.
I will always be truthful.
There we go. Let me just, I'm going to cut it in half, I think, because it's
pretty big.
A little easier.
Maybe a quarter.
Oh, it's
It's oozy.
This is a mess. Here, I'm going to eat that one because it's a mess. You take this good one, and I'm not going to cut it.
But I might try with the fork.
All right.
Let's see what it's like. Let's see what it's like.
What do you think?
I think it looks great.
Do you really?
And I might have learned something.
You could make that. Just a simple recipe to make. And
I think we'd be very happy with that.
Good, good. You can put more. You can do it any way you want. You know what, though? I didn't say a prayer beforehand.
I know.
I forgot. You should have reminded me.
We both
But
forgot.
you're so polite. No, but the blessing of St. Francis are beautiful words. What are those words?
May the Lord bless and keep us. May His face shine upon us and always keep us in His peace. And may God bless us, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. And thanks for being with us, Father Mike and Sister Jenny. And thank you for joining us once again on our Daily Bread. We'll see you next time. Until then, God bless and peace.